Are you struggling with hair loss? Well, before you give up and start rocking that bald look, get yourself a box of Novaxidil. It's the only clinically proven triple action hair loss treatment on the market. It has 5% minoxidil, which is the gold standard for regrowth. But minoxidil alone will not prevent further loss. For that, Novaxidil uses DHT blocker ketoconazole with added nicotinamide, vitamin K, biotin, and collagen peptides. Basically, every single ingredient you could possibly think of in one product. So stop rubbing peppermint oil behind your ears and get something that works. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Novaxidil.
All right. What's up, dude?
How are you?
All right. I gave blood today.
Ooh,
Yeah.
double or just regular?
Whole blood.
You ever do the double reds?
No, what's that?
So it's when you're doing normal, um, you donate normally, and then what they do is they take double the amount on, and then they filter it, and they put the plasma back in you, and they just take out the blood. So you give a double whole red count. Dude, when I was on all my gear and I had higher blood volume, I used to be able to handle it. Dude, I've done it, and my blood level's a lot lower now.
Yeah.
My hemoglobin level's a lot lower. But if I do a double now, dude, it fucking wipes me out. But
Yeah, I
if
know.
you have a high hematocrit or a high red blood cell count or hemoglobin's real high, it's good to do a double because it drains you. It makes your blood thinner. It prevents clotting and stuff like that. So it's healthy to do if you have a high level, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, fucking wipes you out, dude.
I think I don't I
What
don't
was
know
your
what
hemoglobin?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. It's usually on the higher side because I still use testosterone. But
17, 16,
I don't,
18.
dude, I don't fucking remember.
They usually tell you when they prick your finger.
Oh no, they didn't tell me.
Oh,
They
they don't
didn't
tell you?
yeah, they didn't say anything.
Oh, all
So
right.
but
How's your blood
yeah,
pressure?
that's always fine.
Yeah.
My because I remember my doctor would take my blood and he would be like, red blood cell count's a little high, go donate blood. But I have to donate blood every 3 months for work.
Oh, why?
They make you they don't make you, but they incentivize you. They give you like 3 hours comp time. So you could leave work early or something like
Oh,
that.
no shit. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So they
No,
incentivize you.
they
So
give you incentive to do it. Dude,
yeah,
dude, it's good to do anyway. It's
yeah.
it's really it's good to do. It's like getting
So,
an oil change, dude. It just sometimes heavy metals and shit never leave your body. So it's a good way to
yeah.
get rid of waste.
So I do it every 3 months. So the next when I go back, it'll be I think April or something like that.
Right. Good.
Ah, shit. Nah, the same shit's going on in the bodybuilding world. That Derek's not going to be ready, and Samson looks good, and blah 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 blah. And it's
Right.
not much really. Fucking nothing new is happening. Derek went over to what do you call it, Powerhouse, and
Yeah, Babs, I heard he was there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So did you see the pictures?
No.
Yeah, he's I'll just pull him up real
Is
fast.
he off?
What?
Is he off? Does he look off?
It doesn't look 4 weeks out. It's gonna,
Really?
yeah, does not look 4 weeks out. Let's see. I think it
Well,
was,
he's 3 weeks now, right?
yeah, I think it's 3 weeks now. Let's see, where is he? If this was it, otherwise, here it is. It's 2 days ago.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
It's kind of, when you compare him to the other guys, you know what I mean?
Oh, dude. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm
He's
not,
with he's with Aceto, right?
yeah. So between both of them, I'm not, I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt. You know, I just hope Aceto does. Look, look. The reason why I give Aceto so much love and respect is because the results that he's had with these
He's got
body
he's got a good track record, but
is unreal, right?
yeah,
I've also heard that he likes to use a lot of diuretics or different types of diuretics or strong diuretics or whatever the case may be. I don't know the details, but this is the rumor that I've heard, and I hope that he doesn't pull that, with Derek, like kind of like last minute.
right.
But
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's
I don't know. It just seems
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
Big Bad Dorian.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up, Dick?
We're looking at Derek Lunsford. You know how long I've been calling him Derek Farnsworth?
That's somebody else.
Yeah, I know.
I used to
Uh,
compete with Derek Farnsworth.
yeah.
Well,
So
what
what
do
do
you?
you?
How's Lunsford looking?
Can you see him? This was 2 days ago.
Yeah, the guy on Muscle Discord, he was bashing him. He
Yeah,
looks
that's.
pro.
I'm not gonna bash him. Um,
He
I'm
he
not.
doesn't look 3 weeks out, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't look 3 weeks out, but I'm not gonna bash him because I still have confidence in the team of Aceto and Derek Lunsford. You know, I still have the confidence that Aceto knows what he's doing. You know, after the show, if he's off, different story. But I don't want to count Aceto out. You know, I don't want to.
And also, have you ever seen Derek off?
Not never. I mean,
No,
I've
but
seen
this is
him.
his first time. But this is his first time working with Chris.
I've seen him flat, lose his legs like last year at the Olympia, like that kind of thing, but never off. So I
He'll be
don't.
a competitor, man. He'll be tough for anybody to beat.
Yeah. So we'll see. But
He might be a little off now. I bet he pulls his shit together by the day of the show.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
I hope
And
so.
so also apparently there's rumors floating around that Sam Sulik is going to do the Arnold Amateur, but he has to qualify for the Arnold Amateur first. He has to win
Yeah, I
it.
don't think that's a rumor. I think he's putting it out there.
Yeah. Uh,
Same
he's
thing.
he got really lean, but he's flat as a motherfucker.
He looks different, huh?
Yeah, he's real flat, but he got really. His back looks good. You know, you could see all the muscle
So this,
fibers.
you didn't see his legs though.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I have not seen his legs. He doesn't show his legs much. But we'll see. I mean, look, if he does an NPC show and he's got decent legs, he'll win. He'll destroy it. You know, he'll win. But when he gets to, a national level show is when he's going to have problems if his legs aren't up to par. I don't know.
When is the Arnold Amateur? When are they? What
I think
day is they?
is
Are
it
they
the day
hosting that
before?
on?
I think it's the day before.
So they're
Yeah.
doing it Friday or Thursday?
I don't know.
It starts on Thursday.
And I'm
So
trying to,
they're doing the amateurs on Thursday.
Yeah, they normally do. I
Okay.
affiliate the same thing this year.
and I'm trying to see if the Arnold is free or not. Last year it was free. They're not talking about it being free this year. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll
Because,
be there.
oh, you going? Oh, that's right. You go every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when it's free, if it's free, then there's no reason for me to do a play-by-play
Right.
during it, like we did it for the Olympia. But if it's not free, then I'll do it 100%. You know?
Dude, look how different he looks. Like
I
even his
know.
face. Like now he looks like a kid. You know.
Yeah, right. Just completely
Right.
sucked in. You know,
Yeah.
His skin looks better.
a friend of mine
Yeah,
at the
it
gym,
definitely looks better.
worked out with him. The guy, he had a belt. He signed his belt for him. Told me the kid stinks. He said his body odor is incredible.
Really?
Yeah, he said he's a smelly kid.
Melly Sam.
Yeah, Sticky Sam. Sticky Sam Sulik. That's what I heard. I don't know how true it is. I never met the guy.
Sam Sewer. Sewer Sam. That's horrible.
I know you guys are fucked up. Let me
Maybe
tell
it
you.
was just a bad day, dude.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe
Well,
it's
just
just
sometimes that shit comes out of your pores, dude. You know what I mean? Like
I don't
I
know, bro.
remember
Listen,
guys, dude. I remember
I
guys that used to use big amounts of equipoise,
yeah.
and they would sweat it out, dude. And their breath would smell. It was
Really?
not like bad breath, like halitosis. Like it would just had a distinct smell to it. Well, dude, that shit's got to come out of you somehow.
How much EQ are we talking about?
Well, dude, I mean, to be honest, what guys are doing now, a normal amount, that was considered high in my time. Like, dude, we used to do 100 mgs every other day. You know, and the guys are doing 300 milligrams a shot. You know, nowadays, every day.
I've done 1.2 a week.
1.2 what?
Grams?
Right?
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was a 1-to-1 ratio test to EQ.
The most I ever did
Now,
of
why? Who had you doing that, Dorian?
I did it myself.
Oh, and what did you like it?
what was the results?
There was that point of diminishing returns. I've taken it high before, like 800 tests, 800 EQ, but only
They're,
since I
they're
noticed
both
and
they're
the high
both testosterones.
side effects.
They both break down to a testosterone receptor site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we kind of I don't know. The most I ever did of EQ was 600 milligrams a week, but um, I want to say that the guys back in the day did a lot too, but I don't. Only because when you hear of NASA's cycles, NASA had
Yeah, but
crazy.
dude, you're talking about somebody who was 300 pounds, but I'm talking guys that are like 180
Yeah,
that are
that's just
doing stuff like a Dorian would do. I mean, it's fucking crazy,
yeah,
like.
that's just stupid. But what I just don't understand. Look, I
Dude, I did 100 mgs. It was either 50 mgs or 100 mgs 3 times a week. And dude, I was competitively, I was 205 pounds on stage. I mean, I'd get
right.
up to 238 in the off season, but we're talking about guys that are 180, 175,
Who
fucking
get?
doing that
Do you
shit.
think these kids, these young guys that are competing, not for nothing, even the girls. I have a friend whose wife is using Tren, you know, and do you think they get this from social media? Do you think they
Yeah,
just pull it out of their ass? Do you
yeah.
think there's a guy that tells them?
Well, you have guys like myself and guys like what Dorian just said. When I asked him who put you on the EQs, like I did it myself. I experimented with it. And he said you said you like or had some diminishing returns, you said,
Yeah,
Dorian,
it's a
right?
diminishing return.
Well, I think the point is to understand where my limit is. I know
Right.
Right,
what 800 and 800 would do. I know what a
right.
gram does. I tried this and see what it does. And honestly, like I said, it's mostly just side effects and feeling anxious and
Right.
But it
heart's beating
but
hard. It didn't really help me.
Right.
but
Right.
So I
again,
go
but
with that.
again, you're talking to a 265. What'd you weigh at the time, Dorian?
Um, about that 260,
Yeah,
265.
but you're
Then
talking about a 265-pound pro bodybuilder doing this.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Right.
know, not a 170-pound dripping wet amateur who's never done anything. Dorian, who actually has had a tolerance, and that's the difference. Also, is you do this stuff over years, and because we used to take time off, like they don't do now.
Yeah.
You could reap benefits from doing lower amounts, but when you overuse something for extended periods of time, you build up a dose dependency where now you don't even respond to. If Dorian would do that all the time, he wouldn't fucking respond to 300 milligrams. He would
Right.
need
Oh
he would
yeah.
need
Yeah.
that much
Yeah.
because your body, hey, you're not flooding me. I'm not going to absorb any. I'm going to waste most of it out, and then I'll throw some on the receptor sites when
Yeah.
when I fucking feel like it.
I never
That's what your
did
body
more.
does.
Yeah, I never did more than 600 EQ. I never did more than 600 Deca a week. I never did more than 100 milligrams of, D-bol Anadrol a day. But here's the thing. And I never did more than 1,000 milligrams a week of test. But here's the thing. The results I get from 100 milligrams of D-bol is the same results I get from 50 milligrams of D-bol. The
Right.
results I get from 1,000 milligrams of testosterone is the same results I get from 500 milligrams of testosterone.
Right.
So yeah, and you're right, Dorian. There were times like I would use more, and I would feel, what I would know? I would feel like I was getting sick. I would feel like I was on the borderline of getting the flu all the time, And then as soon as I would lower it or pull it out or whatever, a day or two it would go away. And then from then on, I was like, oh, okay, I don't need this. Is what I need. But to just douse yourself. Where does this information come from? You think it comes from social media?
So
it
the
comes all
interesting,
over the place, man.
yeah, and these guys, they just, they hear one thing and they fucking run a mile with it, whatever. But I heard these guys talking recently. Here's an interesting topic. Um, these guys were talking and they were going into a discussion how they're on all year. They don't really. What's up, Bo?
Hey, how y'all doing?
You, what's
Oh.
up, dude?
Yeah.
So they've gotten to this discussion of their cycles, right? And they're basically on all year. And dude, these are guys that are experienced. These aren't like young kids.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about how they take this medication, for blood pressure because their blood pressure gets high when they're on high doses, right? And then they take this to balance out their sugar. They'll do a metformin or something like that, and then they'll take something to make sure their triglycerides. So they're on they're on all these markers, you know. So, and here's where the problems really start to arise is that um, they don't give themselves breaks.
Yeah.
Okay. So they take all these other medications to keep their levels at bay. So if you run their blood work, they look healthy, right? When the reality is if look, I can give you an example, dude. I don't want to mention names, but I got somebody, you know, who's on try, and this is a guy who's older. He's obese. He's got some health issues, right? He's on blood pressure medication. He's on triglyceride medication. He's on cholesterol medication, and he hasn't admitted this, but he's probably on some sort of sugar medicine if he's not already a type 2 or type 1 diabetic, right?
Right.
So I'm like, how's your blood work? Oh, but if you ask them, they tell you they're perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
So,
Don't
the
mind the
funny
man
thing,
behind the fucking.
right, right. So, but the thing, even these guys that are on gear, you run their panels, you run their blood work, and they think they're healthy. Well, dude, just because the side effects aren't boostering up with blood pressure and you're still getting the other side effects from that. Like just like this guy who's heavy. Like, dude, do you really think you're heavy? You're over 100 pounds. I mean, do you really think you're healthy? You're
Right.
100 pounds overweight. And just like these guys, they'll find any reason not to come off gear.
Yeah.
And because they're taking blood pressure medication or they're taking something to keep their triglycerides or their cholesterol in check, they think they're healthy. So they're going to continue to run this shit until they fucking, you know, until we see more deaths in the industry.
Now, when you say they don't come off, what does that exactly that mean? Do they just run a full
Okay, so
like
so what they do is they'll take X amount of like, you know, 1,000 megs a test and 1,000 megs a trend and whatever their normal bulk cycle is, and then their cutting cycle, and then the show's over or whatever cycle they're doing is over, and they come off. Now, when they come off, they do HRT or testosterone replacement therapy. When
Mhm.
the reality is they're not really replacing anything. What they're doing is they're just lowering the dosage. So they really don't give themselves any ample time to come off and to get your system healthy again and to get your natural levels up. Dorian,
Right.
we've talked about this, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
when you come off, and how did you feel from doing that protocol?
Well, to be honest with you, and then this stemmed up off of a conversation we've already had on this podcast about guys not coming off. And I think is maybe 8 years ago was the last time I fully came off because I was going blast and cruise and blast and cruise. And, coming off, I got to say, generally my health felt good. But the last time I came off, like 8 years ago, I lost like 40 pounds. And I was
Wow.
scared to come off.
Right.
But if you do things appropriately, Jason gave me a HCG cycle to kind of restart my natural testosterone as fast as possible. And that got me in a place where I really didn't lose any weight.
Well, that's good.
I thought my performance slipped a touch, but to be expected. I'm not running a
Of
ton of
course.
shit.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So the difference when you do these
Good.
protocols,
And that set me up for success. Now that all my receptor sites are cleared and fresh, as soon as I jumped back on, I was really responsive.
Yeah, it's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks. Yeah. Right.
plus, dude, you give your heart a break. You give your system, your liver a break from flushing all this shit out. But the difference is when you take an exogenous form of testosterone. That's why guys in their young ages respond so well because they have all that natural production, right? So when you continuously take artificial forms of testosterone without coming off, you're shutting your system down. You're no longer going to produce, right? And there's a big difference, and this is what I really think is a distinct factor in the look of the athletes nowadays to my time, where they had more of a sinewy muscle fiber to them, where you saw them, they looked like they were granite as opposed to just a morphed, bloated, hard look that you see nowadays. And it's because they no longer have natural production. And without natural production, your body doesn't grow the same way. You're only growing from artificial testosterone. And it's different. It's a different look from when you have natural testosterone and artificial testosterone. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know if I used this analogy, last time we talked about it, but it's like if you're type 2 diabetic, okay, your body is still producing some insulin. You need help, okay? And your insulin sensitivity is definitely off. But type 1 diabetics who no longer produce insulin, there's other health factors that come into effect when your body is still producing your natural hormones. And it's the same for testosterone. And that's why type 1 diabetics live up to 20 years less than somebody with type 2 diabetes.
Really?
Because your body is still, you're still producing these hormones.
Mm.
And these hormones are catalysts. They're catalysts to push sugar into cells, to push cholesterol where it needs to go, to push triglycerides where it needs to go. When you no longer have testosterone and you're producing insulin, and you're not producing insulin, your body, this stuff floats in your system, and your sugar level gets high, your blood sugar gets high, and your blood gets thicker. You're at risk for clotting. You're at risk for coronary disease, heart disease. I mean, I could go on and on. But when you have a natural production of any of your anabolic hormones, IGF, testosterone, insulin, your thyroid, when you have a natural production, okay, you're always better off when you take an artificial substance as opposed just getting it all artificially.
Mhm.
And
Oh, weigh in on this, Bo. How do you do it? Do you come off for a significant period of time, or you stay on all year round, or do you just do a TRT or cruise? How do you do it?
I come off for at least about 6 months.
Do you really?
Fucking brilliant.
Like I don't do TRT. I don't do nothing.
Oh,
I
all right.
come off when I come off, I'm clean, no pills, no nothing.
Is there a time of year you usually do it, or it depends on when you're going to compete?
It's like when I compete. When I compete, I do my rebound or whatever. But after that, I'm through. I'm done. I come off everything. I put everything in the drawer and close it up.
If you don't mind me asking, what kind of numbers do you run when you're on? Because we were talking about people that have done, insane amounts of EQ, insane amounts of tren, and then going back to the normal dose. What numbers do you run, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't even run AQ though. I run tests, but I ain't run nothing like 600 tests, and like it was 600 tests, 400 primo, half Remedex.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like
and look at the results you get. That's if you have to blast
exactly what Jason was talking about. If you look at Bo's physique, he doesn't have that artificial look that
okay, yes,
look,
I
extended
hear what you're
stomach,
saying.
like not at all, dude.
Yes,
His dick's a little distended, but
I'm like you, Jay. I'm here now, but I'm old school. You know what I'm saying? Like maintenance bodybuilder. That's my philosophy. You know what I'm saying? I go by the maintenance. I ain't these young cats trying to do this 2,000. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand. I don't.
And that's why nobody's lasting. That's why these guys can't last and they can't compete all year. They'll stay on all year, but they won't compete all year, which makes no fucking sense to me.
I just don't. I would love to know where the fuck they're getting these numbers and why they're pushing so many of it. When you see guys and there are plenty of other bodybuilders that have said, I guarantee you, when I put this video up tomorrow, somebody in the comment section is going to say, Bo's full of shit. Guaranteed.
Like I said, but like I won my first 6 shows natural.
Yeah, exactly.
And did two pro shows with my first pro show was I was natural.
Yeah.
My second pro show, I was on 200 milligrams of test. And that was Puerto Rico, and I played second to Eduardo.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Bodybuilders have become like, I don't know what you want to call them. They believe what they want to believe, and when you point to actual numbers and actual data, they still say no. I don't know. That's
it's the class. I use this. I'm sure I've said this before on the show. It's the classic scenario where you can if you're looking to find an answer, right? You'll find an answer.
Yeah.
If you don't like what your coach is telling you, it's like what they say. If you don't like what if you don't like what your doctor tells you to do, what do?
I don't know.
You find another doctor.
Yeah. I don't do that.
These guys want to go this way.
And that's it.
They want to go this way. So they will find, it's called confirmation bias. They'll look for any piece of information that tells them what they're doing is okay. And dude, if you look hard enough, you can fucking justify anything.
Right.
So
Dorian got mad. He left. He went, Jay, I'm doing what I
he'll
want.
be back, dude. He loves this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, what about the girls? Are they on that same track? Because the truth of the matter is, when I do have girls on, I normally, for some reason, I normally don't ask them about their anabolic use because I feel like they're going to be offended or they're not going to want to talk about it. Where guys, I feel like it's more, kind of natural to talk about it or whatnot. What about the girls that you've seen, Jay, or you've trained or whatnot? Are they on that same track or?
I haven't personally worked with any girls recently. Okay. Any girls, and I've worked with a decent amount of women before. And dude, I had a criteria. I would only use certain things. I would only use them for a certain amount of time, and that was it. I didn't really like them using DHTs. There was never a reason to give them testosterone.
Right.
But the good drugs for women were Anavar, growth hormone and clenbuterol. And if they needed a mild T3,
That was it.
every other day, that was it. I didn't mind them using, believe it or not, a Mastrone or a Primabone, which are DHTs, but they would use them for 3 or 4 weeks. Dude, 50 milligrams a week, nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing. Nowadays, I can't say from personal experience, he's back. I
Yeah.
can't say from personal experience, but from people I've talked to that work with women, dude, it's they're guy cycles.
Same
They're
thing.
they're fucking guy cycles. Yeah.
You've experienced that, Dorian, where the girls are just as bad?
Well, yeah, and I've got several women I've worked with closely, several pros that I've known that are female, and it's not just the milligram usage; it's the amount of different compounds. Kind of blows me away what some of these like women's physique chicks are doing, figure chicks even. I mean, they're full on cycles. They're taking 5 different steroids, 6 different steroids at one time. I've seen chicks taking Tren, and
Yeah, I've heard of.
the new thing, chicks taking 300 milligrams of Primo. That's the new thing.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Right. Nah, I'm gonna tell you, like I seen some women's protocol and it's ridiculous. Like I don't understand who their coach is or why they listening to the person that they get, because they taking like men. I'm talking about open men cycles. Some of them live.
Yeah. I've
And I
heard
don't
of
know. And then you wonder why your facial structure and what I'm saying, all that changed. Like
Falling out.
Who was that guy, that trainer he had a couple girls die under him?
Starnes, help me out.
Shelby.
Shelby Starnes, right? Yeah.
And it seems like ever since I heard those protocols, that's what I hear recently. And you have, the women that come forward say, oh, well, he didn't really tell me to do it. I did a little more than he had. But dude, his protocols were, even what he told you to do is a little fucking crazy, dude.
The girl, I have a friend who's been on my show before, Stacy. She's a bodybuilder. She's completely bald, but she just shaves it and then wears wigs. Right? I don't know what her protocol is, but she has no hair. She just shaves it like me and then puts a wig on or a hat.
Why?
What's up?
Why?
I guess because her hair is so bad that she just decides to shave
Of
it.
alopecia, or it's from
No. From anabolic.
Bell pattern baldness is what it is.
And then
and then you could tell when a woman taking too much anabolic, it'll do the same thing.
Yeah. And
Does
then
she shave her dick?
no dick.
Does she shave her dick?
No, yeah, no, that's me. Remind me never to tell you anything anymore. And remember when we first started, Jay, when I had you on, Rita West, she was bald too. She used to shave her whole head and
Really?
Yeah. I went to
and wear wigs.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
The Rising Phoenix, the World Championship of Female Bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Now, 1 or 2 of those girls had their own hair out of a competitive field of about 18.
Wow. Yeah, I think Iris Kyle doesn't have any hair either, right? Iris Kyle's all wigs.
All for that reason, Dorian? They would lose it?
What else would? How else?
Him is because of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Use of their substances.
Wow.
So why is it so much harmful for women to do this than men. That's what I've always heard. But besides the
They're-
obvious, the
Because they're male
hair.
hormones.
Yeah, I know, but go into like, the exact when you put male hormones into a woman, what is like? I understand that the side effects, like your clit grows, you get hair on your chin, your hair
Ima-
falls out.
Imagine you, John,
Yeah,
taking a mega dose of estrogen.
yeah, and I get
It's
tits.
the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think women take too much more than what they really need, though.
Well, John, what you just mentioned, those aren't the real side effects.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Those are the obvious side
Right.
effects.
That's what I mean. What are the real
But
side?
you're reconstructing or reconfiguring the whole female endocrinological system.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right.
So-
See, that makes more sense. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so your female anatomy, your female body is now doing things that
That's not supposed-
characteristically it's not meant to do.
Right.
Women aren't supposed to have the same type of blood pressure as men.
Mm.
Women aren't supposed to have the same type of blood volume as men. Women are not supposed to have an accelerated testosterone level, which causes other attributing factors like men do. We're different genders. And that's why it becomes not just toxic, but toxic is a great word for it. It becomes very toxic.
Yeah. Right. Right. Does it mess with their reproductive system?
Yep.
It does.
Oh yeah.
But the crazy thing is a lot of it, depending on how long they're on for and, it's their hormones. So a lot of this is reversible, right? And you won't have these
Some
side
of it's
effects.
not, though, Jay.
Well, you're right. I mean, some of it's, but
Depending on how long they've been on, how long they
Right.
staying on.
right, you're right. No, Bo's right. So if they do these, if they're planning on competing and making a career out of this, they have to really time this out perfectly. They have to do short little stints of cycles, get off and clean out, let their body come back to normal. The longer they stay in this unnatural, way of being, the lesser the side effects are to be reversible.
Wow. It's just, to me, it just doesn't, well, it's not worth it for either one, but for women, it just doesn't seem worth it to me because, even if you're a top pro, what are you making? Like, what is Miss Olympia? What is Iris Kyle making?
I don't. Yeah, it's not that. It's not for the money.
Do you just think it's the obsession?
Right. It gets competitive.
That's it. It's just the obsession.
Chick that's doing twice the amount of gear that you, and she's beating you. That makes these women think, I need to do whatever I need to do to increase my competitive advantage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and it's funny because without take the stage away, women aren't doing this. But
yes,
it's just
you're
competitive.
right. That's their nature, no matter what. Yes, I got you. I understand. Go ahead.
It's just that competitive aspect of being on stage. They want to be they want to be the best version of themselves. And sometimes they think steroids is the way to do it, or overdosing steroids is the way to do it. And it's not,
it's the same female nature, only in the bodybuilding world. So what I mean by that is
this is a bigger house.
Right. My wife gets the new Louis Vuitton bag.
New
Well, I
car.
want the new Louis Vuitton bag or the better one.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in the women's bodybuilding world. She's bigger. I got to get bigger and better. That makes all the sense in the world.
It's the same as the men, though. It's the same.
Yeah, so to be at this level, to be at any pro level, whether it's bodybuilding or any other sport, right? Professional football or MMA, any sport, dude, you got to be a little fucked up.
Yeah, you
We
got to
all
be nuts. Yeah.
up in some way to put ourselves through this, right? And it's not a matter where if these women, and do we all make wrong decisions? And I think all of us pro bodybuilders that have walked this path, we took an oath, for lack of a better term, we took an oath when we were younger. Hey, and we've all read this. If you could take this, if you could do this,
Yeah.
and you could reach a certain level of athleticism or accomplishment, but it's going to take a couple years off your life, would you still do it?
Right.
And we all say yes.
Right.
We
They
all
actually
say yes, we move
there was a
forward,
survey done, right? Wasn't
Right.
in the early 2000s with Olympic athletes.
So it's no different for women. And they're not doing this because, and again, you think in the moment. Nobody thinks long term. Like nobody
Right.
wants to go on a diet until they have a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so until these women are faced with some of these realities,
Yeah.
you know,
See, my biggest pet peeve when it comes
give me
to,
1 second.
go ahead. My biggest pet peeve when it comes to anabolic use, especially with guys that don't compete. Like if you want to do some testosterone and growth, that's one thing. I get it. That's what I do, right? That's a cycle for me now at 48 years old is 500 milligrams of test and fucking GH. That's as much as I do now, right? And it's been that way for the last couple of years, right? And then same thing, like Bo said, come off for 3 to 4 months, clear out, do it. But what bothers me the most is the guys that don't want to compete. They want to go on, which is fine. Okay, I get it. But they want to use T3, clenbuterol, tren, Winstrol because they want to get in shape instead of doing the cardio, cleaning up your diet, and they use those drugs as like something they think is going to make up for not doing the cardio and not doing the diet. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, actually. He wanted to do T3 and clenbuterol, and he never doesn't compete. He just wanted to do T3 and clenbuterol. And he was talking to me about it. And I said to him, I was like, dude, why do you, what's the point of doing that? I said, you could just clean up your diet and do some cardio and the weight's going to come off. He wasn't obese or anything like that, or blah, blah, blah. He's just like, oh, well, I want abs. And I'm like, well, just fucking do the cardio and clean up your diet. You don't have to give yourself T3 and clenbuterol. That doesn't, to me, that's like that's a pet peeve of mine. Because to me, that's a lazy person's attitude, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Yeah.
take something instead of actually doing the work, and that goes against everything bodybuilders do, right? Bodybuilding, everything about bodybuilding is long, strenuous work, hard work. And if you want to get those results, you put the work in. You don't rely on the drug. That's my biggest pet peeve when it comes to this. But Paul, when you were growing up and you first like started competing or whatever, or even when you were doing the amateur shows, and you were natural, did you ever have an issue with guys that you were beating and they were on all kinds of stuff and they called you out? Oh, really? All right, go ahead. We'll go to Bo first, then we'll go to Dorian. Go ahead, Bo.
I done had some guys question how you winning it, this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell them though, it ain't the fact that how I'm winning, it's the fact of why I'm winning. How I'm winning ain't got nothing to do with it. I go to the gym late nights, early in the morning. I'm doing an hour cardio here, an hour cardio there. I'm working out in the morning, I'm working out at night. Eating 6, 7, sometimes 8 meals. You wanna know why I beat you?
Yeah, right.
My motor is that big. Your motor that big.
Right.
You depending on something, you know what I'm saying? Like you said about the looks. I had guys get on stage, y'all. If you see, you be like, that guy gonna win. That guy didn't win. Guy cut, shredded, big. Didn't win. Middleweight, like heavyweight.
Right.
Won
the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, but then I tell people like, oh man, you just getting started. And man, listen, I was 250 pounds before I got started in bodybuilding.
Oh, so
I built my foundation from powerlifting. I've been strong, been lifting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand, like, you got to lay your foundation down. You just can't depend on them drugs, man. They don't understand. They want to depend on the drugs and then wonder why they can't win.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dorian. Same question.
Well, I've been bodybuilding like 26 years now. The first 10 years, I was all natural. I didn't take illegal steroids. And I would go and I'd do NPC shows or other shows, and I would win. And these guys would be so jealous because they're doing all this shit. And they're still, they're not stacking up to me. Then they'd be like, bullshit, you're fucking lying.
Yeah.
You're using steroids. You're fucking lying.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of offensive to me because I did it the right way.
Yeah.
But, between me and Jason and Bo and even you, John, what's going to determine one of these guys who are taking a bunch of shit versus a guy? Let me rephrase this. Anybody who has good genetics is probably going to have a higher likelihood to win over somebody who doesn't.
Right.
And I think that's what it boils down to, because Bo's got great genetics. He doesn't need to take a ton of steroids to have a wonderful physique.
Right.
Neither did I.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to. I think it's like we said before, you know, I think it comes down to the fact that these people believe what they want to believe, and no matter what you say or no matter what kind of numbers you give them, they don't believe you. You're full of shit. That's it, and so on and so forth. But do you guys ever come? I've come into this a lot too. Do you ever run into this? The complete opposite of the guys who want to do everything under the sun. Did you ever run into a guy who wants to do something but is petrified, just petrified, and like they'll buy a bottle of Anavar and then it'll be in their room or they'll be in their house and they won't touch it because they're scared, or they'll do like 10 milligrams of Anavar a day. And I've had so many guys I've talked to about this, and I go, dude, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Don't think you have to if you don't want to. I used to have a friend that I used to go to Signature with. Nice guy. His name is Jason, and calls me up one time. He's doing 10 milligrams of Anavar a day, and calls me up one time. He's like, dude, I think I'm getting a rash. And I'm like, and he's like, I was like, dude, I don't think you're getting a rash, man. I think, I don't think you're getting a rash from Anavar. I never heard that before. And then he's like, I was like, just give it some time. I don't think you're getting a rash. Then he calls me up again. He's like, I think I'm getting panic attacks. I'm like, bro, you're not getting panic attacks from Anavar. And I said to him, I was like, yo, you play video games or anything? Do you have like PlayStation? And he's like, and he goes, yeah. I was like, play PlayStation for an hour and call me back and let me know if you're having panic attacks. And then he would come, and then he came to my house, and he would say, "Dude, can I come to your house and just hang out with you while I take the Anavar?" And I'm like, "You want to come to my house just to like have me and as a distraction, just shooting the shit, bullshitting?" Because he would be so nervous taking the 10 milligrams of Anavar. So I'm like, "All right, dude, you can do that." So he comes over and he takes the Anavar and he's shooting the shit and he's playing with my dogs, and my wife gave him something to eat and all this crap, and this is how petrified he was. And I've told him several times, you don't have to do it, dude. I don't understand why you think you need to. If you're that scared, don't do it. I was like, because 10 milligrams ain't doing shit. I mean, that's nothing. Did you ever run into that, Jay?
I mean, I still hear guys that, they're going to do this and they're going to do that and they're going to do it all naturally and they're never going to take anything. And they're good for them. More power to them. I
No,
hope
not that, but the guys that are actually like want
Well,
to.
I've heard guys that were petrified to take an injection. They're not going to take it, so they'd have to call their friends to come over
Oh
to do
God,
it
I've had
for
that happen
them.
too.
And I had one guy who the guy was such a hypochondriac that no matter what he took, anything that would happen, that was negative that day, it was because of that. If he had a
Yeah.
fucking headache,
Yeah.
if he tripped over a step, it was because, his mind wasn't right from taking the, whatever he was taking. So
To me, that's more annoying than the guys that want to take everything under the sun.
yeah, well,
Would you guys ever run into that? Bo, did you ever run into that? Oh, you do it. It's like, yeah, every fucking day in the gym.
I had one of his, a good dude, man. He passed away, you know what I'm saying? Like, this guy told me what he was taking out. And I'm like, you playing? He was like, oh, I'm actually for real. This man was taking 2,000 tests, 1,100 of this, 700 of this. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Done had a heart attack twice, I think. Been to the hospital from passing out and died over COVID.
Right.
COVID what took him out.
Yeah.
But he was a good dude, though. Like, good dude.
Dorian, do you ever have that happen where the guys are just petrified to take something?
Dude, I've had it all. And there's been several instances where somebody wants to use something and they come to me for advice on how to use it. And I'll show them how to do it. I'm like, look, here's your vial, here's your alcohol, here's your syringe, here's the process. I'm not going to touch it because I'm not going to do it for you. This is on you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll show him how to do it. And I'll see one time I had this dude, he gave himself a shot. As soon as he pulled that thing out, he just fucking passed out.
Oh my.
No, is it no, it's anxiety that did it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But you know, one of the things that drives me the nuts the most are these self-righteous natties, and they're like, I would have won that show and not got 5th place if I was using gear.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
or they'll be like, I'd be just as big as you if I was using gear.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, using a motherfucker. Shut up.
I know. I've had guys at work who don't lift a weight, who don't do a push-up, who have dad bods, just like, and they'll be talking to me about bodybuilding, and I'll show them some of the top pros. And I remember I showed this kid, Akeem Williams, and he goes, yeah, I would look like that if I took steroids. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. Not even fucking close. Not an eighth of that would you look like that. Not even fucking close.
What was that post that John Cena put out that he's lifetime natural?
Oh God.
Michael Hearns is too then.
Yeah,
I don't know what
they're both drinking drinking from the same water fountain.
Yeah. A lot of the wrestlers today are natural. You could look at them and see it, right? And that bothers me. When we were growing up, professional wrestlers were monsters. Whether with bodybuilding.
To be honest with you, dude, even the guys now that look natural, they're not natual.
Oh God, that's even worse. But like,
everybody's taking something, dude. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when professional wrestlers, when we were growing up, dude, like this really bothers me. Why I don't watch wrestling anymore. Whether they were just big, like Big John Studd or Andre the Giant or King Kong Bundy or the Big Show, just big like that, or whether they were Big Papa Pump or the Ultimate Warrior, they were monsters. They come in now and it's like you're like I could kick that guy's ass. Like what? It's supposed to be like when King Kong Bundy or Big John Studd came out from the back, and their head was taller than the rest of the crowd, and it looked like they were carrying him to the ring, but he was walking. And you go, oh my God, what the fuck is that? To me, that's what a professional wrestler is supposed to look like. I don't
a lot of wrestlers was bodybuilders.
Yeah, a lot of superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah,
was started.
John Cena was one.
John Cena was one too. Yeah.
So you know where I think that transition changed? When MMA became popular.
Right.
Because like those times you were talking about when we were all younger, we saw these guys that were the freaks.
Right.
That were muscular or big or disproportionate to your average person, and they were the ones that could kick anybody's ass. They were the ones that looked like they were action stars. Now anybody could be an action star in a movie, where it used to be Stallone and Arnold and
Yeah.
But MMA really toned that down because it showed people, hey, these guys are the better fighters, and they don't look like that.
Right.
So now you have wrestlers, which you would think it'd still be different because wrestling's more of a different, like an illusional attraction
they're
than
in their own
MMA,
category.
where it's a skill,
right?
Or training or tactical training. But now you have these guys that don't look any different from anybody you see in the gym on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And they're jumping off the top rope, trying to win a WWE.
Yeah, it doesn't make me. Yo, did you ever look up any of the crazy stories, or watch the show Dark Side of the Ring, which is on Hulu, about the old school wrestlers from the 70s, 80s, and 90s?
You see what was it called? The Iron Claw?
Yes.
That's a Von what was her name?
Von Erichs.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
You want to know? My friend knew them. My friend knew 2 of them. My friend's a WWE wrestler.
Yeah.
He said, dude, that movie? That's the light version of what really happened.
Do you know?
Holy shit.
They so many turns. In that movie, they actually left out a son.
Oh my God.
There was one more son that killed himself. Okay.
That died?
There was one more, yes. And the movie was too long, so they literally just said, let's just get rid of one of the sons. There was, I think that in the movie it was 4, and it was actually 5 sons, and only one's alive. Only one's still alive.
It was 5 because I remember all along when they came to the ring.
Yeah, they were.
I remember when I'm talking about the real ring back in the day.
Yeah, but there was a back in the day when people would not let you. They would not let you on that it was fake. You would say it was fake, but they would say it was real, right? They call it kayfabe, right? So back in the day, if you said that it was fake, well, there was an actual promoter. I don't remember the promoter's name. I want to say Vern Gagne. That's the first name that comes to mind, but I might be wrong. It was one of those, NWA, AWA. They had WWWCW, all these different federations right across the. And if you lost a bar fight, you got fired because that's how serious they were about keeping that secret. So the guys would, it's not like today where you have Netflix and PlayStation, blah blah blah. They would go to a city and they didn't know what to do, so they'd go out. They'd all go out. They'd all go party. They'd drink. So then all these wrestlers would go, and a lot of times they were in like small town USA, and the girls would go nuts, and then the local tough guys would be like, "Motherfucker!" So then they would test them and say that shit's bullshit, and then they had to prove it, And a lot of them were like legitimate tough guys, fucking. And the number one guy that they talk about, you guys remember this guy? Haku. Sometimes his name was Mang, King Haku.
Yeah.
He legitimately he studied martial arts for 7 years, I think, in like Indonesia or something like that before he became a wrestler. Back then, the wrestlers were legitimate tough guys. Today, legitimate tough guys go into MMA and UFC, and they didn't have that. So these guys that really knew how to fight, like the Iron Sheik was like a top 5 Olympic wrestler in Iran, right? Like it wasn't like right, Ric Flair was a collegiate wrestler.
What about Kurt Angle too?
Kurt Angle, yeah, absolutely.
He was an Olympic wrestler.
And he's got so there's this story of Haku got into a fight. He was drinking, got into a fight at a bar, and bit a guy's nose off. There's a story of him gouging a guy's eyes out. There's stories of things not happening well in the ring that wasn't planned, and he would get you backstage, and he would fucking give you a beating or choke you out or something like that. Yeah. And there's a lot of them, like Rick Root. Oh, Scott Hall killed a guy. Scott Hall killed somebody. He was a bouncer. I think he killed somebody before he was a wrestler. A lot of these guys were fucking no joke back in the day. Paul Orndorff was another guy.
I remember all them guys. Like all them guys, you had to come through Memphis back then.
That's right.
We had the Coliseum, and my mama used to work at the airport, so she catch everybody coming in. Everybody go to this one little club, you know what I'm saying? They used to all be at the Moondogs and all that. So I used to get tickets to go to the Coliseum to see them every Monday with Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler used to run it.
Yeah.
I know all these guys.
That's right.
I don't know in person, but I've been around them.
Yeah. And the number one guy that was like the backstage, that was like the guy that would straighten you out, the general backstage, if you will, was Andre the Giant.
Really?
So apparently there were these. What'd you say?
I heard a story about him.
Yeah. Apparently there are these unspoken rules in wrestling, and one of the rules is pretty simple. You don't hurt me, and I don't hurt you, and when you hit me, I sell it, right? So you don't hit me too hard, I sell it, make it look good, and vice versa. Well, there were guys like the Ultimate Warrior who would run at you 200 miles an hour and wouldn't fucking hold back, and bow, and you got to stand there and take it, right? So the Giant was one of these guys, and he would tell the Warrior, I don't know if you remember this. The Giant would be a couple of feet away from the rope, and then he would fall back when he was the bad guy, and he would get himself tied up into the rope, and then the good guy would, beat him up or whatever. So the Warrior was the good guy, and the Giant's job was to get him over because they wanted him to feud with Hogan. So if you feud with the Giant, the next guy is Hogan, right? So he would come running, boom, every night in different arenas, and then finally, the Giant had enough, and the Warrior's running, and he just picks his hand up, and his hand is like this fucking big, right? And the Warrior just face first, bow, hits him right in the face. And he said, Bobby Heenan tells a story because Bobby Heenan was the Andre's manager. He says after that night, bink. There was like another rule that you can't bring girls to the show because it was a distraction because you're looking for the girl in the audience that you brought. So so that was like a big rule. You can't do that. And Hogan, when he first started, brought a girl to the show, and Andre the Giant had his foot on the back of his head, and his neck was on the rope, and he was like stepping him, like choking him, and he's telling Hogan, "No girls."
They said Andre the Giant took a dump on somebody backstage.
Yeah, no, it was
Oh,
oh God, Bam Bam Bigelow tells the story. I don't know if it was Bam Bam or Bam Bam Bigelow or Jake the Snake Roberts. He would do this thing where he would fucking fall on you in the corner, right? I don't know if you remember. He would do this thing where you're laid out in the corner and then he would just fall on you, right?
it's selling you.
And then he would hold the ropes. But if he didn't like you, he wouldn't hold the ropes. If he didn't like you, you were in trouble, right? So he wouldn't hold the ropes. And I think it was Jake the Snake, and he used to drink. The Andre Giant used to drink like nobody's fucking business, like cases of beer, wine constantly. So he always had gas and shits. And he fucking farted. It was either Bam Bam or Jake the Snake. He farted and then he just fucking shit all over him in the middle of the fucking ring, right? A lot of times back then, most of the matches weren't televised. They called them dark matches. You could go buy tickets, and it wasn't on TV. And these fucking things would happen. It was just, fucking craziness. Just good. Junkyard Dog. I don't know if you remember. Junkyard Dog was this big star in this other fucking federation, right? And there's this thing where the Junkyard Dog was their big star. It was the face, the good guy.
He had to change.
Yeah, and he would feud with the Freebirds, and the Freebirds were fucking the bad guys.
Heels.
Yeah, the angle was that they threw something in the Junkyard Dog's eyes, and he's blind. That's the angle. So he couldn't wrestle because he was blind. But he comes to the arena, and he's got the glasses on like he's blind, and he can't see, and somebody's holding him and bringing him to the seats. So he's sitting right up front, and there's the whole angle is that he's fucking blind. And the Freebirds are fighting, and the Freebirds are like messing with him in the front, like they're gonna beat him up. And there's a fucking guy right behind Junkyard Dog, pulls out a fucking 38 and says, "Don't worry, dog, I got you." A real fan pulled out a gun. "Don't worry, dog, I got you." So now the Junkyard Dog has to make a decision. Do I ruin this fucking angle and take this guy down? Or do I let him shoot? So thank God security got to him before he shot one of the Freebirds. But people really fucking believe that shit. I could go on and on. Jake the Snake had a grandmother run up on him when he was entering the ring and cut him with a razor. Yeah, it's fucking dude. You gotta listen to some of the stories. It's fucking crazy. I'm gonna do one more topic, and we're gonna let you go. I know we're getting a little late, but I wanted to cover this topic. I got sidetracked. I know you guys are gonna call me crazy. I've been looking at some of the pics of Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater, and I don't know if Nick could beat Fitzwater. I'm doubting it, even if Nick comes in great shape. I'm seriously doubting it because that kid Fitzwater has such great balance and shape, and he's getting bigger and better and harder with every show he does. I don't know. You guys think I'm crazy or?
Anybody can be beat.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at it and it looks like to me that Bradley's surpassing him. And I might be dead wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Bradley.
Martin. Not Bradley. Martin Fitzwater. I almost said Bradley Martin.
So I mean, you don't know till they show up,
Right.
and I know guys that have great shape like a Martin, and then you have some, nobody thought Branch Warren was going to do as good as he did until you put him on stage at that first Arnold when he fucking smoked everybody. Like, holy shit, a guy who was not known for shape, not known for having a small waist, not known for this, is fucking blowing these guys away in every pose. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that's what really catapulted Branch Warren. No, Nick, I think Nick has something to prove,
Yeah, we cover that
from
definitely.
bailing out the last two shows and a little bit of a lackluster performance in his last one, not hitting his peak right. he's got something, you know, we need to see him at his best again.
Yeah.
So,
Can he bring that though?
That's
right,
the question.
Yeah.
Can he
Right.
bring it? Yeah.
can he bring it back? Can he bring it back? And
He can beat Martin, but if he's off, he can't.
Yeah.
He's got to be 100%. If he's 100%, he'll show up. If he's not 100%, he won't even do the show.
But y'all see
So,
the
I mean,
comment he made
Seems
though.
to be
He
the
said
trend.
he made the comment and said Martin couldn't beat me when I wasn't my best.
but then on the other side, Martin's got to be at his best too.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's say they both hit their peaks perfectly. You have this progression of of Martin, and you have Nick where we haven't seen him get better.
Right.
So it's a matter of what we know from his old look. Can that old look beat an improved and a Martin who's continuing to improve from show to show? So we'll see. We'll see in a few weeks. When the
Yeah, and I have to, I gotta specify this. I am a Nick Walker fan. I'm not really much of a Martin Fitzwater fan, right? Because he blocked me on Instagram and all that crap, right? But I'm taking my emotion out of it and trying to say and compare the both. And I say, okay, look, Martin has gotten better with every show. He came in fourth at the Olympia. Nick has, like you said, Nick's last performance was lackluster. He pulled out the last two Olympias. He doesn't look like he's progressing as great as he was a couple of years back. I think Martin could beat him, but people have to understand that I don't want him to beat him. I want Nick to win. I'm a Nick fan, but I kind of try to have a opinion without emotion, and I try to do that with everything. Right? I try to do that with everything. Sometimes it gets me, and I hate doing that because I know, like, Nick's mom watches my show because she says you have to support people from Jersey, and I met the parents and they are great people.
a great family, dude.
Yeah,
I know all of them. Great,
and
great
I
family.
really want to see Nick win. Like I want to see Nick win everything because I'm a Nick Walker fan. Always have been since he was on, Fuad show. But sometimes you got to call a circle, and if you feel like if your opinion is not, the opinion of the majority, that's what I got to say.
But who you think is the best bodybuilder?
Today?
Yeah, today.
In general?
Who you think is the best bodybuilder?
In general. Like,
in general.
Yeah, Keon.
No. I'm talking about between Nick and Martin.
I have to go with Martin right now.
That's the correct answer to me.
Yeah.
Martin just placed the fourth at the Olympia.
Yeah.
We ain't seen Nick in 2 years at the Olympia.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
That's what's unfortunate, about any sport. You're only as good as your last performance, right?
Right.
So Martin, who's progressed, Nick hasn't, doesn't mean Nick can't beat him.
Right.
Doesn't mean that Nick is gonna take this lightly and come any lesser than we think he's capable of coming in. Nick could very well beat Martin.
But on paper,
based upon
Martin the best bodybuilder right now.
Right. Yeah.
But based upon last performances, Martin, is probably an odds-on favorite right now.
Right.
But none of that matters till the day of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no question. Nick could go, and I was always a fan of the freaks, man. I was always a fan of the freaks, like the monsters.
Have y'all seen Hakeem? I don't mean to switch subjects.
Dude,
have y'all seen Hakeem?
Insane. I'll just bring it up.
Man, listen.
He's gonna be.
I don't want to hear that back. What is back double or back rear leg look like? Man, that man has improved.
Yeah, big time.
From soul.
There you go. He's gonna be a problem on that stage, man. He's gonna be look how small his waist looks.
Man, that man that's solid muscle.
Yeah, he's gonna be a problem on that Arnold Classic stage. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to break the top, 3 or 4. There's no question about it.
Chris said he got probably the best arms. Say King got the best arms, probably.
It looks like it. His arms are insanely freakish. And here's the thing, and Jay could attest to this. It's when you get this lean, and you're in this contest shape, you look like you're 300 pounds because you could see everything. His arms look insane, and his waist looks so small that that V taper looks amazing. Yeah, he's gonna be, and he's another guy that I'm happy that he's doing well, man. because, you know, if anybody deserves it, it's him. He's been around a while. I know he went through some, you know, personal shit with his ex-wife or whatever it was, and now he's just made a comeback and he's making a statement. So good for him, man.
Yeah.
And he's always been a good. Every time he sees me, you know, he's always been a good dude to me.
He's a great guy.
Absolutely.
He's somebody you want to root for, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
And dude,
All
he
right,
looks
gentlemen.
fucking phenomenal. Yeah,
What'd you say, Jay?
and he looks fucking phenomenal.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, listen, all the love and respect in the world. Thank you for coming on. And I'll talk to you guys during the week.
All right, boys.
Later,
Thank you.
fellas.